This is Scarlet Monastery as Mistweaver Monk. Standard disclaimer stuff. What is it that I say at the start of these? I'm not an expert. This is not a dungeon guide. This represents my individual experience with a random dungeon group. So right, other half of Scarlet Monastery here. It's split up into two different dungeons. Hey, there's another Pandaren in this group. Those are surprisingly rare. I don't see a lot of pandas. I'm usually the only one. Also usually the only monk. So I'm playing both a rare class and a rare race. Oh, that was some hefty damage. Somebody's standing in some fire here. Another druid. Lots of druids today, it looks like. Krayler. Wait a minute, that name looks familiar. Did I end up grouped with this druid more than once? Were you with me just now in Razorfen Crawl? There was something about this name that sticks out to me. Krayler. I at the very least thought that I played with this druid more than once. I'm not sure if I was mistaken or not. Anyway, he's cool, he's good. I enjoyed playing with him, I seem to recall. Don't really know what's going on in this dungeon. It had been a very long time since I'd seen it. Didn't really remember it very well. Just kind of sticking close to the group and healing through whatever happens. There's some zombies here. They're non-elite monsters, so they go down real quick. Fuel tank, what's that? I don't think I noticed it while I was playing, I just noticed it now. It looks interactive. I guess I can do something with it. Looks like zombies just keep on coming, so it looks like we just need to keep moving here. Maybe the fuel tank is what does that fire stuff? I don't know. I'm just noticing it now. I was completely oblivious to that while I was actually in the dungeon. Not really the healer's job to pick up stuff like that and do damage with it, if that's what you do with it. But sometimes it is. Most of the time. I can just concern myself with keeping everybody alive. So yeah, kind of like Scarlet Halls. This is not particularly large. It's not like super duper tiny, but it's not a huge one. Are we at a boss already? We sure are. Just like in the first hallway. Waits no time getting to it. What the heck happened here? Like Scarlet Monastery, again, let's see, I did eventually figure out that it was Mists of Pandaria that this was remade for. Ah, no wonder it didn't look familiar, because, you know, I'm sure I played this in Cataclysm, but it was updated more recently than that. Yeah, there's a heroic version that you could queue for at whatever was max level in Mists of Pandaria. I don't think I really get the opportunity to do heroic dungeons while leveling, like the old heroics just are. You can queue for them, technically. You have to be just one very specific level to do it. I assume nobody else would be ever in the queue if I did it. You know, I'd have multi-hour long dungeon queues if I really were stubborn about saying, okay, well, I'm level 85, so I can do all the Cataclysm heroics. Or whatever it would be at this point. Gonna have to interrupt my experience, queue for each of these 12 dungeons or however many it is individually, and wait for somebody else who's either in my situation trying to do every dungeon as they level, or has just decided, hey, this is what I want my level cap to be, interrupt experience, and you know, it just would not work out and probably wouldn't be a good experience even if I could do it. So I just have to accept that once I'm no longer playing in an expansion where they're current, I will not really see the inside of a heroic dungeon, other than the max level ones once I get there. But at least I can see the normal version of this dungeon. See the new stuff, even if it's not tuned for, you know, what the max level was at the time. Because yeah, like, the heroic dungeon experience is a lot more interesting to me than the leveling experience. Like, I mean, this bear's health bar is hardly gone below, you know, 80%. Probably won't for the most part during this whole run. The hunter's off doing stuff. Bear's just standing there for some reason. Got the encounter done. Pretty much didn't take any damage, you know, just come into this dungeon, do whatever, who cares? It's kind of sad sometimes, you know. I want a challenge. I want an activity where I have to actually pay attention. I'm just standing and doing nothing. I think what I'm doing is I'm sticking with my bear, seeing that he's not attacking. He's not attacking the things that the other group members have decided to pull for themselves. And I talked about this in some dungeon or another. There are times when you just really don't want to interact with an enemy if the tank is not the one who had pulled it. So I was sort of following that policy. Whoops, I stood in a bad place and somebody spotted me. I could tell because my nameplate turned red and I heard a "huh" off to the side. It's hard to know where to stand sometimes because, like, if I stand on top of the tank, sometimes I'll get cleave effects and things like that. You don't always want to be up close when you're the healer. But if I stand far away and I'm not paying attention to my surroundings, you know, this can happen. Somebody's casting some kind of fire effect on me, and looks like this bear is having trouble figuring out who and where was doing it. It's still happening. I'm not sure either. Ah, it's that dude over there. That one that the bear just got to. No, my nameplate's still red. There we go. Okay, it was that group. How did I gain the attention of all those? Was I in that area? Am I a lower level than everybody and therefore have a higher threat radius? No, like everybody appears yellow to me here, all the enemies. I think? Yeah, tank's 32. I'm like 35 or 36 or something. I'm not sure what happened there. It is hard to tell sometimes. Anyway, it wasn't a problem. I could heal through it easily. The bear scooped it up eventually. Whoa, damage. I had the wrong target selected there. I still do. I'm not realizing that I'm healing myself because I had an enemy selected instead of the tank. So therefore the heals were going to me because you can't heal an enemy. Oh geez, this is a mess. Yeah, okay. I was getting all butterfingered there. Wasn't sure what to do. That bear's probably gonna die. Yeah, I made some mistakes. Had the wrong target selected. I had this problem early on, just with, you know, the particular playstyle I use where, you know, I have to click somebody's portrait to target them for healing. Other people set things up differently, and maybe it works better. Maybe I should learn another way, but this is the way I do it, and there can be some problem. Yeah, looks like he did die because he was running back with me. You know, some stuff went wrong here. But again, everybody's cool. Nobody's yelling about it. We just, you know, run back from the beginning of the dungeon, which isn't too far away, and just move on. I made a bit of an oopsie. Nobody's giving me a hard time about it. They're nice. I'm fully aware that was my fault that people died there. Maybe other stuff was going wrong there, but I definitely made an error that it looks like resulted in the group dying altogether. But it's cool. It's fine. People thank me for resurrecting them. Just not a big deal. Like, these are the groups I enjoy, you know. The ones that, like, will have one death and not even feel the need to say anything about it. Just get back in, be perfectly happy, and ready to go again. Ideally, I'd like to not make mistakes like that. Like, you know, I learned from this mistake. This calls out to me that, hey, something is wrong with the way you're doing this, in that you are accidentally choosing the wrong target sometimes. Be really careful about that. I don't know what that black stuff on the ground is. I don't know if it's an enemy effect or a friendly effect. Standing in it doesn't seem to be hurting me. It went away. What do we have in the party? So there's a hunter, a mage, a druid, and what's that blood elf? I can't tell from here. There's a quest. Have to use this blade on Whitemane. Inquisitor Whitemane, I think, is the last boss, I think, here. Anyway, what is that blood elf? Warlock. Maybe it's a warlock thing. That looked kind of warlocky. Dark swirly stuff. I don't know. This is kind of the downside to not having played this game for like 4 expansions. There are all these new class abilities that I don't know what they are. I don't know if that's a friendly thing or an unfriendly thing. I still don't know. I'd have to ask a warlock or play one myself, or I guess look it up online. Man, these guys do a lot of damage.
I will break you.
That's right, this is... okay. I was remembering the wrong thing about this druid. This was the first druid who... I gave you a life cocoon so that I could focus on attacking for a bit. This was the first druid I experienced who needed some real heavy healing and like a lot of attention. I was having fun keeping this druid alive. Because I had to actually pay attention to stuff. All of the others I had run into either were like geared better or used their defensive abilities more or something. I don't know what the difference is. I can't tell from the healer's perspective. I just know that this particular bear, maybe the monsters in here just hit a lot harder than somebody has fireworks. Just hit a lot harder than the other dungeons I've been running. That does seem to happen some in like new retuned dungeons. They're often tuned just a bit harder than the stuff around them that's unchanged from its old form. So maybe this is just a tougher dungeon. Dude, what are you doing? Use your heavier heals. What am I doing? My mana bar's full. Hit that Vivify button more. There we go. What am I doing? I renewing misted myself? Why? Man, I am not playing this right. I guess, again, I just haven't had to until now. Like, I'm having some trouble in this dungeon. You know, this kind of situation demands that I figure out, like, hey, my healing's not working as well as it has before. Why is that? What's going on? Hunter attracted somebody's attention, and since I cast a healing spell on him, and he died, now it's all on me. I'm standing in some fire. I think it's friendly fire. As in, like, the kind that won't hurt me from the warlock. But again, I just don't know on sight. I would assume that's a destruction warlock. Those are the fiery ones, right? I'm waiting for battle to end so I can resurrect this hunter. But yeah, I mean, as messy as this run might look, these are the ones I really enjoy because it forces me to pay attention and, you know, debug the whatever is going wrong with my, how I'm using my abilities. Because something was going wrong. I had to figure out when things just were not working out. There's a little bit of chaos from people, including me, but, you know, other damage dealers standing in the wrong place or attacking the wrong target, so that's part of it. But I don't feel like that's been a major problem here during this run. At least the bosses aren't too problematic. It's often the trash who's a lot more dangerous than the bosses in this game. It's funny how that works.
But my legend.
You shall pay for this.
High Inquisitor of White Mane, there she is. So right, this guy dies real quick, then we fight her, then like they both get resurrected or something? How is it? I forget. I'm asleep. There's nothing I can do about that. Oh right, that's a scripted sleep. She has to put everybody to sleep to resurrect him. Right, if it were something that something could be done about... Whoa, that mage took a lot of damage. If it were something somebody could do something about, then I would have a big asleep thing in the middle of my screen. But if it's just a scripted thing, like everybody can't act for a moment while they do their thing, then it doesn't feel the need to tell me about it. Whoa, mage taking some heavy damage again. How do you keep doing that? Oh, she's dead. That is a mage, right? I think so. That wasn't a healer problem. I'm not sure what was going on there, because, like, there's no way I would be expected to heal that much damage in that much time. She must have been standing somewhere or, like, attracting somebody's attention she shouldn't have been. Oh boy, there are still enemies here. I was interrupted because I was stuck in combat. I guess she just released and is running back or something. Yeah, a lot of deaths here. Man, this went worse than I remembered. But kind of in a good way. We still got it done. I learned some things. Hopefully other people learned some things, because I was not the only one making mistakes here. Right, I have to do something with these swords. Blades of the Anointed thrust into Whitemane's corpse. She's right there. Requires High Inquisitor Whitemane's corpse. Looking for it. I can just click the thing in my quest log. Maybe I'm not realizing that here. Where is she? She's there somewhere. Oh, right. I can do the /target thing to find her if I know her name. Oh, it was completed because somebody else in the party did it. So that counted as credit for me. But yeah, if I know something's name, I can /target it. And even if I can't find it with my mouse, that'll just automatically highlight it if it's in range. That's a real useful thing I use a lot. Anyway, cool. So yeah, a little bit of a messy run, but I learned some things, and it was still a pretty good time. All right, see you for the next one, I guess.